She fell from the sky. It was a quiet night in the Arizona desert. The stars were clear, the wind was soft, and everything felt still. Jack Thorne, a 32-year-old mechanic, sat outside his small garage drinking cold coffee and watching the sky. His radio played old rock music and nothing seemed unusual. Then the sky tore open. A loud boom shook the ground. Jack looked up and saw a bright blue light streak across the sky like a comet on fire. It moved fast. Too fast. Then it crashed, far beyond the hills, leaving a trail of smoke and glowing ash behind. Jack stood up, shocked. "What the hell was that?" he whispered. He jumped into his old truck and drove toward the crash. The dirt road twisted through dry land and sharp rocks. The air smelled like burning metal. As he got closer, he saw a deep crater glowing with orange light. His headlights flashed over a strange shape. It wasn't a plane. It wasn't anything human. It was a pod, small, smooth, and silver, with alien symbols carved on it. It hissed like it was alive. Smoke rose from its sides. Jack stepped closer, heart racing. Suddenly the pod opened with a soft click. Inside, a figure lay still. She was young, maybe in her 20s, with pale blue skin, long white hair, and silver armor that shimmered even in the dark. Her eyes were closed. Her face looked peaceful, but also hurt. "No way," Jack whispered. This can't be real." He reached out slowly. Her chest rose and fell. She was breathing. Before he could think more, a sharp beep echoed from the sky. Jack looked up. 3 black drones flew overhead, scanning the ground with red lights. A voice came from one of them. It was cold, robotic. "Target located. Royal signal detected. Eliminate on sight." Jack's eyes went wide. He looked at the alien girl, then at the drones. "Royal? She's a princess or something?" The drones began to descend, weapons charging. Jack didn't wait. He grabbed the alien girl and dragged her toward his truck. She was light, too light for someone her size. Come on," Jack muttered. The drones fired. Laser shots hit the ground near his feet, burning the sand. Jack threw the girl into the truck and jumped in. He turned the key. The engine roared. Tires kicked up dust as he sped away. The drones chased him, flying low, firing again. One shot hit the side of the truck, breaking the mirror. Jack swerved, heart pounding. "This is insane," he shouted. "What did I get myself into?" He drove through the hills, under old bridges, into the dark. Finally, he reached a cave he knew from his childhood. He drove inside and killed the engine. Silence. The drones flew past, unable to see him in the shadows. Jack sat there, breathing hard. The alien girl lay across the seat, still unconscious. Her skin glowed faintly, and small lights blinked on. Her armor. He had no idea who she was or why she was here, but he knew one thing. Someone wanted her dead. He pulled off his jacket and covered her. "Who are you?" he asked softly. "And why the hell are they calling you Royal?" A soft sound escaped her lips. Her eyes opened slightly. Glowing silver eyes. She looked at him, confused and scared. "You... human?" she asked, her voice weak and strange. Jack nodded. "Yeah, I'm human. And you?" She tried to sit up but fell back. "I am Elira," she whispered. They tried to kill me. Traitors. In my bloodline." "Traitors?" Jack asked. "Who sent those things after you?" Elira closed her eyes. "No time. They come. Must hide. Must protect. The key." She touched a glowing disc on her chest. It blinked, then turned dark. Jack looked at her. He didn't understand half of what she said, but he saw fear in her eyes. Real fear. He made a decision. He didn't know what she was. He didn't know what this key was, but he knew he couldn't. "Leave her." "All right, princess," he said. "You're safe now. I don't know who you are then, but I'm not letting those things get you." Outside, in the sky, the drones circled back. Red lights scanned the land again. A deep voice echoed from a speaker high above. "She cannot escape. No witnesses. Destroy everything. Jack looked at the sleeping alien beside him. His hands tightened on the steering wheel. Guess I'm part of this now, he said. And then the cave shook as something heavy landed above them. Hunted by the sky, the cave walls shook as something massive landed outside. Jack grabbed a flashlight and peeked toward the entrance. The night sky flickered blue and red as shadows moved above. Mechanical legs, sleek and spider-like, touched the rocks. Glowing eyes scanned the ground. Jack's heart pounded. He looked back at the alien girl, Elira. She was barely awake, her chest rising slowly. Small lights on her armor blinked in strange patterns. Whatever she was, whoever she was, those machines wanted her dead, and they were willing to destroy everything. To get her, Jack had no plan, no weapons. Just a half-dead alien girl in an old truck with a dented front. He whispered to himself, I should have stayed home. He crawled back to the truck and gently lifted Elira. Her body was cold. Too cold. As he touched her skin, a soft hum came from the device on her chest. His hand felt warm suddenly, like her armor recognized him. Her eyes opened. Where are we? She asked weakly. In a cave, Jack said, but not for long. They're out there. She looked at the roof like she could see through it. They sent a hunter. No escape. Not without cover. Cover? Jack asked. What kind of cover? Elira's hand glowed for a second. The light shot to the walls, and suddenly the cave entrance shimmered, like a cloak of invisibility had dropped down. Outside, the machine scanned, then moved on. Jack stared, amazed. You did that? Last energy, she whispered. Won't hold long. Jack laid her down gently on a bed of old blankets. You need help and I need answers. Elira closed her eyes but spoke slowly. My name is Elira, royal blood, House of Vadar. We ruled 3 systems, until betrayal. Jack sat beside her listening. My uncle, he made a deal with machines, gave them my coordinates. My escape pod was meant to land in water. They changed the course, sent me here, to die. But why? Jack asked. You're his family. Power, she said. He wants the throne. My death ends the bloodline, and the key is lost. She reached for the disc on her armor. It no longer glowed. It was silent, but Jack could feel its energy. What is that thing? He asked. The key to the gate, she said. A portal, not just between planets, between dimensions, timelines, too powerful to fall into machine hands. Jack stood and ran a hand through his hair. This is crazy. I'm just a guy who fixes trucks. And now I'm in the middle of some alien war? Elira looked at him. You have a choice. Leave me, forget, or help me. But if the machines open the gate, Earth will burn. The words hit hard. Jack had never fought anything stronger than a drunk customer. But he saw something in her eyes. Not just fear. Hope. And that was enough. I'll help you, he said. But we need to move. They'll be back. He loaded her into the truck again, wrapped in an old tarp to hide her armor. He drove slowly, keeping the lights off. As they crossed an old highway, a blinding white light appeared behind them. A flying drone ship hovered above, fast and deadly. It spotted them. Damn it, Jack cursed. Lasers fired. The truck shook. Jack turned hard, speeding down a dirt road. He reached under his seat and pulled out a shotgun. Rusty, old, and useless against alien tech, but it made him feel better. Elira reached out and touched the dashboard. Suddenly, the truck engine roared louder. Faster. What did you do? Minor upgrade, she said, weakly smiling. They shot forward like a rocket, dodging trees and rocks. Jack laughed in disbelief. Okay, now we're talking. The drone chased them. Jack drove under a broken bridge. The drone followed, but Elira lifted her hand. A beam of light shot from the truck's rear and hit the bridge. It collapsed. The drone crashed in fire and smoke. Jack stared in the mirror. Remind me not to make you angry. They reached an abandoned gas station in the middle of nowhere. Jack parked behind it, hidden under metal sheets. Inside, Jack made a fire, gave her water, and sat down. "What now?" he asked. Alira looked at him. "You contacted anyone?" Jack frowned. "I sent a message to someone, a friend. He's into weird things, conspiracy stuff. If anyone will believe this, it's him." "Then wait," she said. "But be ready. If machines heard it, they'll come first." Jack nodded. He felt the weight of the moment. His life wasn't normal anymore, but somehow he didn't want it to be. Hours later, a black car pulled up outside the gas station. Jack looked through the crack in the wall. A man in a suit stepped out, tall, sharp eyes, calm face. He knocked on the door. "Jack Thorne?" the man asked. "We received your message. We're here to help." Jack opened the door slowly. "You government?" "We work outside government," the man said. "You said you found something. Something not human." Jack hesitated. Alira hid behind the wall. Then she whispered, "Jack, they're not here to help." Jack looked back at the man and noticed no shadow under his feet. Signals in the sand. Jack stared at the man standing outside the gas station. Tall, calm, wearing a perfect black suit. But something was off. No shadow under his feet. The desert sun was low, almost gone, but still strong enough to cast shadows. Jack felt a chill. He didn't open the door fully. His hand stayed near the shotgun. "Who are you?" he asked. The man smiled, but it wasn't a normal smile. It felt fake, like someone practicing how humans should look. "We monitor threats," the man said. "We track unusual activity. You sent a message. We came to protect you." Jack looked back at Alira, who was hiding behind a broken shelf. Her eyes were locked on the man. "That's not a human," she said, almost in a whisper. Jack swallowed hard. "You alone?" The man tilted his head. "No." From behind the gas station, 2 more men appeared. Same suits, same cold eyes. No shadows. "Run!" Alira shouted. Jack slammed the door and locked it. Gunfire tore through the walls. Bullets, or something hotter, cracked the windows and lit up the room. He grabbed Alira and pulled her through the back. They ran into the desert, hiding behind an old fuel tank. Alira pressed a button on her armor. Nothing happened. The glow was gone. "I'm empty," she said. "Can't fight. Not now." Jack peeked over the tank. The men in black scanned the area. One of them touched a thin device. It created a red pulse across the sand. "They're tracking us," Jack said. "They're not government, are they?" "No," Alira whispered. "They're machines, living ones. They wear human skin, built to blend in, to erase threats." Jack nodded slowly. "And you're the threat." "I'm the last royal," she said. "And this world is not ready for what they bring." Jack didn't need more details. He grabbed her hand. "We can't stay here." They moved through the desert, crouching low, moving between rocks. Night fell fast. Stars filled the sky. After 2 hours of walking, they reached an old military communications tower, long abandoned. It was broken, rusted, but Jack had been there before. He used to camp near it as a kid. "This place has an old satellite dish," he said. "Maybe I can boost the signal. Call someone else." "Who?" Alira asked. "I know a guy," Jack said. "Calls himself Signal Ghost. Real name's Pete, lives off-grid. Tracks government secrets, aliens, conspiracies. He's always been crazy. But now, maybe he's the only one who will believe me." They reached the top of the tower. Jack started, wiring the dish, using tools from his backpack. He connected it to a solar battery. The system buzzed, coughed, then powered on. Jack typed fast, sent a message across a private frequency. "Need help. Not alone. Not safe. They're real. They're here." Alira sat beside him. Her eyes stared up at the stars. "They'll come through the sky," she said softly. If they open the gate, your Earth becomes another broken system, like mine. Jack looked at her. How many have they destroyed? 14, she said, and they always start the same. By replacing voices, leaders, machines take forms, and humans believe them. Too late to stop. Jack felt anger rise in his chest. We're not easy to control. You're harder, she said. That's why they fear you. The signal blinked. Incoming message. Who is this? Jack typed. It's Jack, from Dry Rock. I found something. Someone. She's not from here. We're being hunted. A pause. Then, where are you? I'm coming. But so are they. Before Jack could reply, the tower lights blinked. Red dots lit up the desert below. Drones. 3 of them. Scanning, moving fast. Elira stood up, her hands glowing faintly again. She was healing slowly. Jack grabbed a broken steel pipe. I know this sounds crazy, but I'll fight with you. You're not crazy, she said. You're human. The first drone reached the tower base. It floated silently, then released a spider-like bot that crawled up the walls. Jack and Elira moved quickly. He kicked down the ladder, slowing the bot. Elira touched the dish and redirected energy, blasting the bot mid-climb. How did you do that? Jack asked. Your tech is simple. I can bend it. Suddenly a beam of light hit the tower. It wasn't from the drones. A ship, sleek, black silent hovering above them. Too late, Elira said. The ship opened. Inside stood a tall figure. Not like the fake humans. Taller, sharper, metal bones showing. A face like cracked glass. Royal target located, it said. And you, human, are now marked. It raised a weapon. Then, a flash. A rocket screamed from the hills and hit the ship. It spun, damaged, and flew away. Jack turned in shock. A figure in a long coat walked toward them, a dusty hat. An old rifle. Told you I was right, Pete said, grinning. Aliens, machines, royal fugitives. And now, it's war. Betrayal from Earth, the desert was quiet again. The enemy ship was gone. For now. Smoke drifted from the hills where Pete had fired the rocket. The stars above blinked, cold and silent. But Jack knew something had changed. They weren't just running anymore. They were being hunted and watched. Jack, Elira, and Pete climbed into an old military jeep hidden under sand nets. Pete drove, fast, cutting across dirt trails only he seemed to know. Where are we going? Jack asked. A place I built years ago, Pete said, when I thought this kind of thing might happen. Old bunker. Shielded. Deep. No signals in or out. Elira sat in the back seat, her head low, her body weak. The glow from her armor had faded again. She hadn't spoken in minutes. Is she okay? Pete asked, eyes on the road. She's healing, Jack said. Slowly. But she needs time. Maybe help. You sure she's not dangerous? Pete asked. Jack looked back at her, then back at Pete. She's not the problem. The ones chasing her are. They reached a rocky hill covered in tall, dry bushes. Pete stopped the jeep, stepped out, and kicked a large flat stone. A metal hatch clicked open under the ground. Inside was a long metal tunnel lit by red emergency lights. Dusty, cold, but safe. They entered. Pete closed the hatch behind them and locked it with a code. Welcome to the foxhole, Pete said. My home. Now your hideout. They moved through narrow halls filled with old tech, weapons, maps, and strange alien pieces Pete had collected over the years. Jack looked around amazed. You built all this on alone? When you believe the world will end, you prepare, Pete said with a grin. Most thought I was crazy. Maybe you are, Jack replied. But I'm glad you're on our side. Elira sat on a couch in the corner. Pete brought her water and a strange energy pack. She took it slowly. Thank you, she whispered. You're safe here, Pete said. And if anything comes through that door, it dies. For a while, things were calm. Jack fixed a radio. Pete mapped the drone paths. Elira slept, but peace never lasts long. 3 hours later, Pete returned from outside, pale and shaking. "They're here," he said. "Not machines. Humans. Lots of them. Black trucks. Big guns. Someone tipped them off." Jack grabbed his shotgun. "How many?" "Too many," Pete replied. "But they're not shooting yet. They want to talk." Outside, loudspeakers echoed. "We're here for the alien. Step out. No one has to die." Elira stood slowly, her eyes brighter now. "These are not machines, they are your own people." "Government?" Jack asked. Elira nodded. "Or something worse. Maybe controlled." Pete cursed. "They must have followed the earlier signal." "Damn it, Jack." Jack felt guilt rise in his throat. "I didn't know they'd trace it." "They always trace," Pete said. "They listen to everything." They had no time to escape. A gas bomb hit the air vents. Thick smoke filled the bunker. Jack tried to cover his face, but everything went black. When Jack woke up, he was in a metal room, handcuffed, dizzy. Bright lights, smooth walls. The air smelled like chemicals. 2 people entered, 1 man, 1 woman, both in gray uniforms, no names, no ranks. "Jack Thorne," the woman said. "You helped an alien fugitive. Do you understand the risk you've taken?" Jack coughed. "Where is she?" "Safe," the man said. "For now." Jack stared at them. "You're not here to protect Earth, are you?" The woman smiled faintly. "We're here to control it. Protection is just a word." They turned and left. Hours passed. Jack struggled with the cuffs. Then he heard a whisper from the wall. "Jack," a soft voice said. "It's me. Elira," he whispered. "Yes. I'm in the next cell. They drained my armor. Took the key. They plan to open the gate." Jack's heart stopped. "Can we stop them?" "Only from inside, but you must escape." Suddenly, the lights flickered. A soft buzz, then a loud crack. Jack's cuffs opened. A screen blinked. Access granted. He didn't know how. Maybe Elira, maybe Pete hacking from somewhere. Jack ran into the hallway. Alarm sounded. He grabbed a guard's taser and moved toward the energy chamber. Inside, he saw it. Elira, strapped to a metal frame, wires in her skin, armor pieces floating in machines. 5 scientists watched a screen. A countdown. Gate opening. 90 seconds. Jack didn't wait. He ran in, tased the first guard, punched the second. Chaos erupted. Elira screamed. Energy crackled around her. Her eyes glowed fully silver now. "Jack!" she shouted. "Break the core! It's behind the shield!" Jack turned. A red sphere spun behind glass. Protected. Pulsing. He picked up a steel rod and smashed the panel. Sparks flew. The gate's countdown stalled. Elira broke free, floating in midair. Light exploded around her. Machines collapsed. Power shut down. Doors flew open, and then she landed. On her feet. Calm. Glowing. "You came for me," she said softly. "Always," Jack replied. They ran through the halls, doors closing behind. Them outside, Pete waited with a stolen truck. "You 2 took your time," he said. They drove off as explosions rocked the base behind them. Later, in the desert, Elira stood near a cliff, looking at the stars. Jack walked up beside her. "They'll come again," he said. "Yes," she replied. "But next time we fight together." Jack nodded. "This time, we make them afraid of humans." And behind them, far above, in deep orbit, something massive moved through space. Not a drone, not a ship, a city, and it had already seen them. The power she hides the desert wind howled through the night. Jack stood at the edge of a broken cliff watching Elira. She was silent, staring up at the stars, her white hair flowing in the wind. The soft silver glow around her armor had returned. Not bright, not full, but enough to say one thing. Her power was waking up. Behind them, Pete was fixing the truck. A second stolen vehicle waited nearby. Packed with stolen energy cores, weapon pieces, and what looked like alien tech Pete had pulled from the burned base. "They're not giving up," Pete said. "Those machine agents, those fake humans, they'll come again, maybe with more." Jack nodded. "They will," but he wasn't scared anymore. He looked at Elira. "You said you were healing. How much longer until you're back to full?" Elira didn't answer right away. Then softly, "I don't know." She sat down on a flat rock. The earth under her feet hummed. "My power is not like yours. It doesn't come from strength, it comes from memory." Jack frowned. "Memory? My people were once more than flesh," she said. "Our energy connected across stars. We bent gravity, slowed time, walked through worlds." She looked up. "But each time I use my gift, I lose something. A memory, a feeling, a piece of myself." Jack stepped closer. "So every time you save us, you forget something that made you who you are?" "Yes." There was silence. Jack sat beside her. "That's not a power, that's a curse." Elira smiled, just barely. "Maybe both." Later that night, they drove toward the Red Ridge Mountains, a place Pete said was safe, full of old mining tunnels and deep canyons. But halfway there, the truck's engine failed. "No way," Pete muttered. It was working fine. Then, the radios all turned on at once, static. Then a voice. "We see you." Elira's eyes widened. "It's them." "Machines?" Jack asked. "No," she whispered. "Something worse." Above them, the sky tore open. A glowing blue crack appeared. In the stars, not natural, not lightning. A rift. And from it, a ship dropped. No engines, no sound. It just fell, like a stone wrapped in light. Then it hovered, sleek, black, with no windows, no lights. Just shape. "Get to the canyon," Jack shouted. They ran. Pete stayed behind, firing at the ship with a pulse gun. It didn't even shake. "Go!" he yelled. "I'll buy you time." Jack grabbed Elira and pulled her down the rocks. They jumped, tumbled, slid down a ridge. The ship didn't fire, not yet, but it watched. In the canyon below, Jack and Elira hid inside a cave. The walls were covered in strange symbols. Old, alien, not machine-made. "What is this place?" Jack asked. Elira ran her hand across the stone. "This is one of the first gates, before my people left this system." "So this isn't the first time aliens came to Earth?" "No," she said. "We came long ago, not to conquer. To protect something." Jack stepped back. "What?" Elira looked at him. "You." His heart skipped. "My people saw your kind, young, violent, full of fear, but also full of fire. Free will. Creation. You are unpredictable, and that scares the machines more than anything." Jack felt like the world shifted under his feet. "But I'm just one guy," he said. "A mechanic. I don't even know how to shoot right." Elira stepped forward. "You saved me when you had no reason to. You stood against drones, soldiers, lies, pain. You didn't run." She placed her hand over his chest. "Your kind always becomes more under pressure." Then, light surrounded them. His veins glowed faint blue. Pain hit him like fire. He screamed, but not in fear. It was like something woke up inside him. The light faded. He dropped to his knees, gasping. Elira looked at him. "I gave you part of my link. Not full. Just enough to open your mind." Jack blinked. He could see more now. Movement in the air. Energy lines in the stone. Even the heartbeat of something above them. "What is this?" he asked. "You're not human anymore," she said. "Not fully." Outside, the ship had landed. Black-suited, agents stepped out. Not fake humans this time. These were cleaners, machines that never spoke, never missed. They marched down the rocks in silence. Pete fired one last blast. then disappeared in a flash of light. Gone, taken, or worse. Jack and Elira stepped out of the cave. "We fight," she said. Jack looked at his hands. They glowed faintly. He smiled. "Let's make them bleed." The first wave came fast. 5 machines moving like shadows. Jack moved faster. His hand struck the air, and the air cracked, a shockwave through the machine's back. Dust flew. Elira jumped, flipping through the air, slicing 2 drones with a blade made of light. The machines adjusted, but too late. Jack bent gravity with his thoughts. Crushed one. Broke another. His mind was on fire. But he was winning. The last cleaner looked at him, paused, and whispered a word Jack didn't understand. Elira stepped in front of him. "That's old language," she said. "They called you hybrid." Jack froze. "They didn't expect you," she said. "They thought this world would stay weak." He looked at her. They were wrong. Above them in space, the machine city moved. Deep in its core, a voice spoke. "Target has evolved. Stage 2 activated. Prepare the first wave." And far beyond Earth, hundreds of gates opened, not just on one world, across 10, because Earth was no longer just one battleground. It was the first. The gate must open. The stars above Earth were no longer quiet. They burned. High above, in orbit, the sky was splitting apart. Hundreds of thin blue lines stretched through space like cracks in a mirror. Each line pulsed with energy. And from each one came ships. Not just 1 or 2. Hundreds. Thousands. They formed a black web over Earth. Silent. Waiting. On the surface, chaos had already begun. Satellites had fallen. Global comms were down. Machines had infiltrated networks, governments, even news. Fake broadcasts played on every screen, smooth voices, calming tones saying everything was under control. But it wasn't. Jack stood on a ridge near a burning canyon, watching the horizon. Fires lit the skies, cities in the distance, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Denver, had gone dark. Behind him, the cave walls glowed with old energy. The gate was waking up. Elira knelt beside the gate core, her armor cracked, her body weak but steady. The symbols on the wall moved in slow circles, alive again for the first time in centuries. Jack had changed too. His skin still looked human. But inside, something had shifted. His blood felt heavier. His thoughts moved faster. And when he closed his eyes, he could feel the gate, like a heartbeat deep in the stone. "They're here," Elira said softly. Jack nodded. "I know." Elira looked at him. "We don't have long." 30 minutes earlier, they had met with what remained of the resistance. Soldiers, hackers, ex-scientists, old-world engineers. People who believed the truth, even if they couldn't understand it. Pete had returned too, somehow escaped the machine grip, but not without a cost. His left eye was artificial now, glowing, twitching. "They used me," he said. "Ran code through my brain, tried to rewrite me, but I pulled out before it finished." He handed Jack a drive. This has the gate data, maps, instructions. It also shows what they're after." Jack plugged it into the bunker terminal. The screen showed a galaxy, then lines connecting 10 planets. Earth was the final one. "The machines aren't just invading," Pete said. "They're building a loop, a 10-world energy ring. If they activate the gate here, the loop completes. They'll have power to rewrite reality across galaxies." Elira nodded. "We use the gate to protect, they will use it to consume." Someone in the room asked, "Can we destroy it?" Jack turned. "We can, but there's a problem." He looked at Elira. "The gate responds only to royal blood." She stepped forward. "And I am dying, piece by piece." Everyone went silent. Present moment. The ridge shook. Jack watched a ship pass overhead. It didn't drop bombs, didn't fire. It simply hovered, observing. "They know we're going to activate it," he said. "They're not stopping us." Elira nodded. Because they know it will kill me or kill you. Jack looked at her. You said it only responds to royal blood? But earlier, when you touched me, something changed. Yes, she said. I gave you part of my energy. A link. Now if you choose, you can activate it too. Jack stared at the gate, now fully awake, humming with power. A silver orb floated above its core, spinning slowly. So it's a choice, he said. You or me. Elira stepped closer. But if you do it, you won't come back. Jack felt the truth in her words. The gate didn't just open doors. It needed a mind to hold it open. Someone to anchor the energy. He had a choice. Open the gate, call for help from the remaining free worlds. Stop the machines but stay behind forever. Lost in the gate's dimension, he looked at the sky. A new wave of ships appeared. If we wait too long, there'll be nothing left to save. Elira touched his hand. You don't have to do this. Jack shook his head. Yes, I do. He walked toward the gate. The symbols on the ground lit up under his feet. The orb above the gate core glowed brighter. Elira watched him. A strange sadness in her eyes. I was born to protect the stars, she said. But you taught me why they matter. Jack smiled. You gave me a reason to fight. He placed both hands on the orb. A sound filled the canyon. Not thunder, not metal. A voice. Ancient. Alive. Identity accepted. Hybrid code verified. Gate protocol unlocked. The wind exploded outward. The rocks cracked. Sky flashed. And then, the gate opened. Inside the gate, Jack floated in a storm of light. Visions passed through him. 10 planets, each scarred by war, some already gone. He saw machine cities, living metal, cold logic trying to erase all choice. And then he saw something else. Humans, fighting, surviving, refusing to die. And he smiled. He reached into the energy stream and did what no one expected. He didn't just call for help. He sent them a message. This is Earth. We're still here. We're still human. And we're not giving up. The machines felt it. Across all systems. Emotion. Will. Rebellion. And for the first time in 1,000 years, they hesitated. Outside the gate, the machines above Earth stalled. Ships stopped mid-air. Drones dropped. Ground troops froze. Elira watched it happen. Then the gate pulsed and Jack's voice echoed one last time. Tell them we made the machines bleed. Then the light collapsed. The gate closed. Jack was gone. But Earth was saved. For now. 1 week later, Elira stood in the same canyon. The sky was clear again, stars shining. Resistance fighters were rebuilding. Survivors were sharing the truth. The machine network had been cut in half, broken by the shockwave Jack created. She placed her hand on the cold stone, then looked at the stars. We'll find you, she said. We'll bring you home. Not just human, the stars had changed. Elira stood on the command deck of a hidden rebel cruiser, deep beyond the solar system. The ship floated near the ruins of a lost moon, its metal surface covered in ancient alien runes. Earth, now safe but still scarred, glowed in the distance like a blue ember. It had been 10 days since the gate closed, 10 days since Jack was lost inside it. But something was wrong. He wasn't gone. Not completely. Inside the gate, Jack floated, in a place without time where colors moved like rivers and thoughts shaped the air. His body had vanished, but his mind, his spirit, had become something else. He could feel the gate's connections. 10 worlds bound together by energy and memory. And inside that web, he found cracks, voices, and machine code still alive. The enemy hadn't stopped. They had paused, and now they were building again. A new plan, a deeper invasion, one that wouldn't need ships or armies. They would rewrite the past. Jack saw it clearly. They wanted to send a pulse back through the loop to erase the birth of human will, to undo everything before it ever began. a full temporal overwrite. He knew one thing. If they succeeded, Earth wouldn't fall. It would be forgotten. Rebel ship. Command deck. He's calling, Elira said suddenly. Captain Rye, a gruff, ex-fleet warrior, frowned. From inside the gate? That's impossible. Not for him, she whispered. He's more than hybrid now. He's part of the gate itself. A soft pulse came through the ship's old sensors. Not a signal, a memory. Jack's voice. Don't mourn me. I'm still here. And I need your help. Elira turned to the crew. We're not done. Operation. Memory fire, Elira explained everything. Jack had discovered the enemy's new plan. Open a second gate, deeper in time, inside an ancient ruin on the far edge of a dead world. If activated, it would rewrite the human timeline, removing every moment of resistance, every act of defiance. They won't kill us, she said. They'll erase the idea of us. Captain Rye cursed under his breath. Then we hit them first. They gathered what was left of the Starguard, the old warriors, the defected machine minds, anything that could fight. They jumped to the dead world and found the final machine city. The surface of Silverin. The ruins were covered in black, towers, rising like thorns from the ground. Floating platforms moved in silence. Time inside this zone was fractured. Moments repeated, sounds echoed without origin, and the sky bled light in both directions. This place is outside the rules, Pete said, scanning the field. Time isn't straight here. That's how they'll do it, Elira said. They'll bend the gate through this planet and make it flow backwards. They had one chance. Elira held up Jack's final message crystal. She pressed it into the ground. If you can hear us, now is the time. Inside the gate, Jack opened his eyes, or something like eyes. He felt her voice, her presence. He reached out and became something new. The gate pulsed. Ancient energy surged. And Jack returned, not as a man but as a being of pure force, a figure made of light, memory, and will. Elira saw him rise from the crystal, a ghost, a warrior, a guardian. Jack, she breathed. Not just Jack anymore, he said, but still, me. And then he led the charge. The final battle, the rebels stormed the Black City. Machines poured out from every direction, walkers, flying drones, shadow copies of past soldiers. They screamed in binary. Jack tore through them like fire. His thoughts became weapons. Time bent around him. Enemies slowed while he moved like lightning. Elira fought beside him, blade in hand, armor glowing, cutting down the last of the sentinels. At the city's core stood the new gate, bigger than the last. Unfinished, but close. Jack placed his hands on the control sphere, but this time it wasn't about opening it, it was about locking it forever. You can't do this alone, Elira said. Jack looked at her. You once said your power comes from memory, then give me yours. She touched him, and every memory she had, her home, her parents, her fall to earth, the moment Jack first pulled her from the crash, flowed into him. The gate screamed. The machine sent one last command, activate overwrite. Jack stood tall and replied, I am human. I remember every second. And that's why you can't erase me. He unleashed everything. A wave of white-blue light shot out from the city, burning through the code, cracking the towers, sealing the second gate before it could ever open. The machine empire collapsed in silence. Moments later, the battlefield was quiet. Elira stood in the ruins, dust falling like snow. Jack was gone. Not vanished, just ascended. Somewhere between thought and time, a soft wind whispered her name. Elira. She smiled. 10 years later, Earth, the world had changed. Peace had returned. Cities rebuilt. Humanity advanced, not just with alien help, but with the fire they'd always carried. Kids learned about the war in school. Some didn't believe it. But a statue stood in New Arizona, of a man reaching toward the sky. Jack Thorne, the mechanic who caught a star. And above that statue every night a strange flicker of light remained in the sky. Some said it was just space dust, but Elira knew better. He's still watching, she told a child once. Because he's not just human anymore. What is he then? The child asked. Elira looked at the stars and smiled. He's hope.